Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving headfirst into one of the absolute most fascinating intersections of myth, geography, and faith in the entire world. We're going to unpack the sacred geography of the Indian subcontinent. Specifically, we'll be looking at how an incredibly dramatic mythological tragedy literally gave birth to a massive network of spiritual power centers. It is a profound question to kick things off. How exactly did the immense, literally world-shaking sorrow of Lord Shiva physically transform the landscape into these powerful hubs of divine energy? Well, to figure that out, we can't just look at maps. We have to rewind to an ancient story of love, insult, and unimaginable grief that scattered divine energy across thousands of miles. Section 1. The Myth of Goddess Sati. So to really understand the map, we gotta understand the myth first. The whole foundational story centers on Goddess Sati, an avatar of Parvati, and she made a choice that essentially changed the cosmos. She married Lord Shiva, totally against the wishes of her super powerful father, King Daksha. Let's quickly walk through the incredibly rapid, tragic sequence of events that followed. Basically, King Daksha organized this massive yagna, a huge, grand, sacrificial fire and feast. But he intentionally excluded his own daughter Sati and his son-in-law Shiva. Now, despite Shiva's warnings, Sati actually attended the event, just hoping to make peace. But instead, she faced unbearable humiliation when Daksha publicly insulted Shiva. Unable to bear her husband being dishonored like that, Sati actually threw herself right into the sacrificial fire, giving up her life. And you can imagine, when the news reached Shiva, his grief instantly morphed into a world-ending rage. Which brings us to Section 2. Formation of Shakti Peeths. This part perfectly illustrates how a personal tragedy in these myths scales up to cosmic proportions. Blinded by just absolute grief, Lord Shiva retrieved Sati's lifeless body from the fire and began the terrifying Tandava, that's the cosmic dance of destruction. The sheer force of his sorrow and anger was literally threatening to annihilate the entire universe. The cosmos was physically shaking. So to save all of creation from Shiva's wrath, Lord Vishnu had to step in. He deployed his ultimate weapon, the Sudarshana chakra. But, and this is key, he didn't aim it at Shiva. Instead, he directed the chakra to carefully cut Sati's lifeless body into pieces. The whole goal was to separate Shiva from the physical form of his grief, basically forcing him to finally stop the dance and calm down. Now here is the crucial point. What happened next? As the Sudarshana chakra did its work, the fragments of Goddess Sati's body fell back down to earth, and wherever a piece of her divine form landed, spanning all across modern-day India, Sri Lanka, and way beyond, that very soil was completely transformed. These locations became known as Shakti Peeths. That translates directly to a sacred house, or seat, of the goddess's energy. Moving right along to Section 3, the sacred numbers. So, looking at the geographical reality of these sites, ancient texts actually categorize the sheer scale of the goddess's footprint using 3 highly sacred numbers. First up, we have 18. This refers to the 18 Maha-Shakti Peeths. It's a highly revered, really primary list of the most potent sites. And the geographical spread of just these 18 is massive, stretching all the way from Shankari Devi in Sri Lanka in the deep south, all the way up to the Sharada Pitha in Muzaffarabad in the north. And what's really fascinating here is how we actually know this specific list of 18 so well today. It was brilliantly immortalized by the great philosopher Adi Shankaraya in his super famous Sanskrit hymn, the Ashta Dasha Shakti Pitha Stotram. This text essentially acts as a spiritual map, literally locking these 18 locations right into the daily prayers of millions of people. Next, we move to the number 51. This is kind of the standard, most widely accepted list across the entire subcontinent. Legend states that the Sudarshana chakra cut Sati's body into exactly 51 pieces. The big takeaway for you here is the profound cultural link. These 51 Peeths directly inspire the 9 forms of Goddess Durga, the Navadurga, who are passionately worshipped over the 9 days of the Navratri festival. Finally, we hit the big one, 108. Various tantric texts and ancient Puranas expand this spiritual landscape even further. The 108 Peeths reveal a spiritual geography that totally ignores modern political borders, reaching deep into Nepal, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and even up into the mystical heights of Tibet. Okay, Section 4, the cosmic straight line. All right, prepare yourself for this next part because it reveals a fascinating geographic and theological alignment found among three of the most sacred of those 18 Maha-Shakti Pithas. We have three specific sites here. First, Kamakya in Assam, where the goddess's yoni fell, representing the cosmic act of creation. Next is Gaya in Bihar, where her breasts fell, symbolizing nourishment and sustenance. And finally, we have Ujjain in Madhya Pradesh, where her upper lip fell, representing the inevitable force of annihilation. So we have creation, nourishment, and annihilation. And here is the truly mind-blowing part. If you plot Kamakya, Gaya, and Ujjain on a map, they form a perfect straight line. Literally, from creation straight through nourishment to annihilation. This geographic alignment is seen as a physical manifestation of a major cosmic truth that every single creation in the universe will eventually, without fail, face annihilation. It is just an absolutely stunning blend of cartography and theology. Let's move to Section 5, Pithas of Telugu states. Let's narrow our focus a bit and explore a prominent regional cluster. We're going to look at how local history, legend, and massive temple architecture honor the goddess, specifically in the Telugu-speaking states of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. The sources give us some amazing details about 4 distinct sites here. First, Sri Salo is super unique because it's also a Jyotirlinga site. And here, right where Satsi's neck fell, the goddess is worshipped as Brahmaramba, a bee. Then there's Alampur, where her upper teeth fell. The goddess here, Jogalamba, is depicted in a really fierce form sitting on a corpse, and she's renowned for granting profound yogic powers. Over in Draksharama, where her left cheek fell, she's Manikyamba, situated right in the lush paddy fields. And finally, in Pithapuram, where her left hand fell, she is Puruhutika, a deity with 4 hands holding seeds, an axe, a lotus, and a dish. It's so cool how each location has adapted the cosmic myth into its own vivid, hyperlocal tradition. All right, Section 6, Enduring Spiritual Legacy. So you might be wondering, why does all this matter today? Let's bring this explainer right into the present. Beyond just being physical stone temples, these sites are actual living entities. They continue to inspire rich local folklore and artistic expressions. In our fast-paced modern world, millions of people still seek out these specific power centers to find a little spiritual solace. And wonderfully, with the rise of technology, these ancient shrines are now accessible to anyone globally through virtual tours and online cultural hubs. It really allows the faith to adapt seamlessly to the 21st century. Now, as we wrap up the myth, there is one final, incredibly profound theological takeaway. The ancient texts note that after the chakra cut Sate's body, Shiva actually kept the final piece, her heart. He absorbed her heart right into his own. This act yielded the ultimate philosophical truth of this entire story. Shiva is incomplete without his Shakti. It perfectly represents the fundamental, inseparable nature of divine masculine and feminine energies in the universe. Which leaves us here. We've traced a path from a cosmic tragedy to a map of divine energy that quite literally crosses nations. As you reflect on this explainer, I want you to consider, how do these ancient stories of transformation, balance, and energy resonate in your own modern pursuit of knowledge? It's something to think about, right? Anyway, thank you so much for exploring the Shakti Pithas with me today. Keep seeking and keep learning.